So the Indiana Fever have just been blown out by the Aces. I know it's going to end as probably a 16, 8, or 19 point game. Right, it is right here with a minute to go. But I do need to get some videos out really, really quickly because I am going to London and I gotta upload all these videos and talk about this situation. But I will say, like, they're playing really, really okay. Like, surprisingly enough, I don't think the Fever played that badly today when Clark was on the floor. And you might be saying, like, they benched Clark early, that the team struggled, they lost. But you have to, especially for a young team, like, Clark looks absolutely distraught right here after losing this game. You're looking at a young team that's 1-6 and a team that's not going to be good. And it's why when you're looking at, say, the Spurs early in Victor's career, like, okay, what can Victor show? You're looking at what X, Y, and Z player is able to show, and you're looking at things that might be able to translate as the season goes on. And I'm going to be honest, I've absolutely no idea how Aliyah Boston is going to step up. Like, I am lost. I'm absolutely lost at how Aliyah Boston, like, in what way she's going to figure this out, because a year ago she went toe-to-toe with A'ja Wilson. Today, A'ja Wilson toyed with them. She absolutely toyed with the Fever. As well as that, Aliyah Boston still shooting under 50% from the field, missing gimmies. She was better. Like, she was not as good as she was yesterday, but she was better than she has been at times, but still terrible. Like, it's still not good. And that is the problem. Like, it's still not a good performance from her. And the one thing that I really, really liked is, surprisingly, that the team played faster. Like, even in that third quarter when it didn't work, it's fine it not working. Like, when they got that, like, the whole game turned on its head when they're down by 8 points and A'ja Wilson trips up Smith. Blatant trip. I don't know how they missed it. Like, they're like, oh, Smith tripped over her own legs. Yeah, she tripped over her own legs because she got kicked in the back of the leg before that. Like, I don't know how it took 5 minutes to review. But everyone being like, oh, it's going to give the Fever a bit of a rest. It allowed the Aces to reset. Like, the Fever were in that game. If they hit those 2 free throws, I know they scored immediately afterwards. I think to bring it to 6, but they hit that 2 free throws and score. Like, that's a 4-point game. And then it just happened that Wilson hit a couple of shots. I think Plum hit a 3. Who was it? Somebody came in and scored 5 in a row. Wasn't Young. Clark, I think, scored 5 in a row. So, like, it is what it is. But they went for it. Like, they ran. Like, Benley missed a couple of passes. Like, she's struggling at times to catch the ball, but she runs her ass off. Like, that's going to work. Long term, that's going to work. And I will die on that hill that this team playing at breakneck speed, long term, is going to lead to wins. Like, I don't see a way it doesn't. I honestly, like, I don't see a way that long term, the way the Fever are playing right now, it doesn't lead to wins. When Aliyah Boston gets into better shape, when players get more used to Clark, and they already are, by the way. They already are. And it's the one thing Caitlin Clark's doing really, really well. Because what she is doing is she is pushing the pace. She is controlling. She's controlling the game. Like, she is, every time the ball gets into her hand, it is push, 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 push. And when her teammates start to run and passes are being made and they're able to score, they look really good. But they're just not used to playing like that, considering last year's game was a slow down, get the ball to Aliyah Boston, go inside out. And I still don't think they're the right fit for each other. I genuinely don't. Like, I think they might win games. I think they're the 2 best players in the team. But, like, I think if you want Caitlin Clark to be successful right now, because of the way she's being blitzed in the half court, you've got to let her push. Like, you've got to let her push the floor as fast as she can. Because that will free up everybody and inevitably free up her. The problem is now is that she is getting blitzed. And she's making really good passes. She's getting blitzed at the halfway line. And her teammates at times just aren't finishing. Like, she had 7 assists. If you include hockey assists, it's probably closer to 15 in this game. She had 6 turnovers. With the way she was being defended, I didn't think it was that bad. And especially with when a lot of her turnovers were her just pushing the pace, going long, and players fumbling the ball. Like, that will improve. That will improve. So that is the one thing. Like, you got to look for positives because Caitlin Clark has not shot an easy shot this year. Like, I watched Kelsey Plum play today. The amount of just wide open, in rhythm, catch and shoot shots Kelsey Plum gets on the floor. Just because she has teammates to take gravity away from her. Caitlin Clark has shot maybe 1 open shot this year. She's got a couple of open layups where teams have just kind of switched off. But, like, she has not shot an open jump shot this year. Because she is being face guarded. Like, teams are playing. They're not only playing 4-on-4 when she doesn't have the ball. At times, they're letting the Fever go 4-on-3 and they're not scoring. The Fever are hopeless in the half court. They're absolutely hopeless in the half court. Because a lot of it because the player that they're meant to run through just isn't herself. Like, Aliyah Boston is still not herself. But when it comes to Clark, she's struggling with shooting. She is struggling with shooting. And I think it's a case of, like, if anyone is being defended like she was being defended, any guard. There's no guard in the WNBA, by the way, that is playing efficiently the way Clark's being defended. It is just a big issue when it comes to this team, is that the other teams cannot punish 4-on-3 situations. They just, like, the team can't punish 4-on-3 situations. And I don't know if it's the players. I don't know if it's Christie's sides. It's one or the other. Like, it's one of the players or sides. I don't know. But it's the same thing every game in the half court. Because when Indiana are getting out and running and Caitlin's pushing the floor, they look really good. But that is the only time they look good. Like, that's the only time they look good. Because in the half court, they're pathetic. They're absolutely pathetic. And no matter what people are saying, they're like, oh, Caitlin Clark's great in the half court. No, she's not. No, she's not. Caitlin Clark really, really struggles. Not even just struggling to do anything. Like, she is struggling to find her shot because of the fact she's being blitzed every single time and teams are letting it 4-on-5 or 4-on-3. Whereas, surprisingly enough, at Iowa, I can guarantee you, with Gabby Marshall, Kate Martin, and Stolke surrounding her, and Falter, with the way they all cut, they were scoring in 4-on-3 situations. They were passing and scoring, whereas you've got here the Fever with an inability to do that. But there are still some positives, and the only positives I will say for this is that you have to look at it as a positive because there is a certain thing that's working. There is one thing and one thing only that is working for this team. And it is pushing the floor with Caitlin Clark as just the floor general. Because she's not going to drop 30. She's just not. If she wants to drop 30, the team's going to lose by 60 because she's being double and triple teamed. The only way that Caitlin Clark is going to average above 23, 24 points a game, which she has the ability to, is if she's able to play without being blitzed in every possession. And until her teammates can actually do something in 4-on-3 situations, because she's not turning the ball over on the blitzes anymore, until her teammates can do something on that. And I'm not even sure it's her teammates' problem. They're not being put in a position to succeed. They don't cut. They just genuinely, other than Fagbennelly, they don't cut. Like, how are you meant to score in a situation where somebody double teams off your man if you do not cut? But Aliyah Boston is not the same player she was last year. I don't care if she has 1 or 2 good games. She went toe-to-toe with A'ja Wilson last year. And this year, like, she's struggling to catch the ball. She's missing layups. I don't know what's wrong with her, but she's struggling. And the one positive sign is that with Smith, with Benley running the floor. You can see how hard they run when Clark gets the ball. She will find them, and they will score. That is the one positive from this game, as the one positive from the season, regardless of where the plus minus was. When they are playing like that, they look okay. Otherwise, in the half court, they are one of the worst professional basketball teams I've ever seen. They are terrible in the half court. And I mean that. Terrible does not even describe this. And if you're Caitlin Clark, you're like, you got to figure something out, because Caitlin looks exceptional as a floor general. She's rebounding well for a guard. She cannot score. And the reason why she cannot score is because the other team's entire defense is to stop her from scoring. So no matter what, people are going to point the finger at Caitlin Clark saying she needs to do better. How? By shooting more bad shots and shooting a lower percentage? It's on the others to score when the other team is literally doubling a player at half court. You know you should be able to score, and the Fever aren't. The Fever, simply put, aren't. And they're that bad a team, they're going to make Caitlin Clark into a pass-first point guard. And she's doing that pretty well. But, Sides has got to do something. Sides genuinely has to do something. If the players aren't going to be able to naturally cut by themselves, as a coach, you got to put them in positions to cut. If players aren't naturally moving into the right positions, as a coach, you've got to draw up some plays. The blitz is coming off every single screen. Why not draw up some plays so that you can make sure that when the blitz comes, players know what to do? Because maybe they can follow instructions, because they're not going to cut on their own accord. Unless Sides are trying to sabotage this team, they're making the same mistakes game after game after game in the half court. At least they're starting to run transition. That is the only positive with this team.